Hi everybody, I wanted to show you my fly that I've been doing for cicadas, the cicadas that are coming. So this is one that I made up based on a few different videos I've seen. Do I guarantee they'll work? You know, we'll see this summer. I'll give you a material list real quick. I use foam, this little sheet foam, 1/4 inch is what I've found to work the best. We have, you can use chenille, any type of chenille. This is large. You can go with medium size chenille. Orange is what I'm using. If you don't have chenille, you can do ice dub, UV ice dub. Anything will work on a dubbing loop. You also will want to have some type of flashaboo. This is like gold. It's got some white and silver colors in it. That's what I use for part of the wing, and the other part of the wing I use is this hairline post wing white stuff that you can find, and that goes on top. That's my top part of the wing. I use also for the hook, you can do anything on the hooks. I like these fire hole streamer sticks. This is size, it's a streamer, size 4, 3x long, 2x gap, and it's a heavy wire. So if you get a hold of something big like a carp or a big smallmouth, you want to be able to hold on to it. So let me show you how I do this. So let's get a hook in there. Get a hook on. And we're also going to use super glue, and we're also going to use, I have this is 6x tippet, 4x is 6x tippet, whatever you have, 5x will work. We'll tie a piece of that in for the ribbing on the foam, and we will be using orange. I have 140 denier or a 3/0 or something like that, a 3x or a 3/0 size, and then silly legs. Any silly legs will work. Anything you got. Let's see. That's not gonna. Yeah, silly legs, pumpkin, barbed, whatever you have. You can mix it up. So we get the thread. We'll get the thread started on here. Do a jam knot. Go back. I'm going to use a large pair of scissors, but I like these because I'm left-handed, and I have never found a pair of scissors that work well for me as a left-handed. Everything that they sell for fly tying is for right-handers, and that does make a difference for us left-handers that tie. And go back, you're going to go back to about where the barb would be. I put a little super glue on that. That's going to help hold the tippet material on. So basically I take my hackle pliers and kind of hold on to this tippet material. I'll just put that in there. It doesn't have to be perfect, just get it in there. It's going to hold tight with that. I just take it back and put it on my vise there to hold that back. Then my foam piece, my 1/4 inch foam, it's cut down to 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches, and I just cut a little knot, or take a little bit corners off, like when you're in grade school when you cut the little edges off, the corners off, and just like that. Put it on the side here, and when you pull down tight, it'll roll up to the top of the hook, and I just kind of pull back a little bit. Get that secured down tight, and try to go back here and get a little bit more of the foam. If you use too small a thread, it's going to tear into that foam. Then take your chenille and break off a little piece of that, tie that in, you know, where the core is. Get that kind of started on there. Let's see, I'll get that started on there. Get that started on there, tie that down tight, just like that. Alright, then advance your thread all the way up to the eye, close to the eye. Then you want to wrap your chenille the same way you wrap thread. And I just kind of hold on to the back of it, and I kind of keep the foam on top. If you pull, my hook's a little loose in my vise, so let's tighten that up a little bit. Pull down on the chenille, and all you're doing is making a body. If you have smaller chenille, that's fine. You can double it up. You can start with your chenille in the front, go back, and then come forward. You can do that with ice dub, with dubbing material. You can do a loop. Once you have that secured down, you just cut that off a little bit. Just wrap that on tight. Make sure you have that chenille down good in the front. Then you want to do, I found that you want to take super glue and put super glue on here. You already did it on the shaft. That'll help hold the chenille on there so it doesn't spin. I like to put super glue on top, so when I fold this foam back, that'll keep that in place as well. And just make a nice 6-8 wraps around there. That holds that thread on there, or holds that foam on forward. And then you take your 6X material and you want to wrap over and then pull straight down. Just all you're doing is you're going to make a little segment out of that foam. And I found if you use the tippet material, you don't see it underneath in the orange. It just disappears. Just try to make them even segments. Get up to the top, go around that a couple times, and then secure that down with your thread. A few turns, like that. And then you just cut that loose, your tippet material. Cut that out of the way. Wrap that a few more times. All right, now bring your line back, probably to the second. You can bring it back a little bit. You're going to make now that may be a little bit too far forward. We should have made a rib like right there. It's okay. You're not going to see that thread anyhow. Now you're going to put the silly legs on. I just do 3 legs. Hold them on there and make them a little bit longer. Then add the back of the fly. You can always trim them later. I like to keep them long anyhow because they stay out of my way a little bit better in the back. Then you want to pull them silly legs down into the orange. And then I just trim the front off a little bit. You can always trim them down later. Flip it over. Take the other silly legs that you just cut off. Put them over on the other side. One loose wrap. Get them adjusted where you want them lengthwise. Make them long enough where you can trim them. Okay, so there we go. Now we've got this side trimmed up a little bit on the silly legs. I'll just get them out of the way a little bit. Alright, so what I like to use, if I can find it, is this clip, this paper, or this hair clip. It helps to hold these silly legs back a little bit. Silly legs get in your way, especially when you start doing the whip finish at the end. So get those silly legs up out of the way. They're kind of hard. Just turn it upside down and get them to fall down. Get them there. And take your clip and clip them so they stay out of your way. Just like that. Now they're out of the way. Alright, so next you want to put your flashaboo in. And I just get a small piece, like, I don't know, dozen little strands. Pull it up to the garbage can and cut a nice square end off over the top of those. Then I sit them in right there where I just tied that in. Let's pull it over the top, a nice loose wrap. And as you pull that down, you can kind of skirt it across there and then pull it back a little bit. Shorten it down, do a few wraps in there. Then I just trim it back behind the abdomen. It's just a little bit. Farther, maybe 3/16 or so back behind. Then I do the same thing. This is the hairline. That's the post wing stuff. And I got 6 strands in there, and then I just trim them off again. I square into them, lay them on top, and don't worry about if it's long. You can always, pull that out of there, pull that down, kind of snug it down, a little bit, straighten it out, just a little bit, pull this out, just pull the, all I'm doing is pulling that back, tying it down, the silly legs are out of the way in the back. And then when I cut this white stuff off, I just cut a little shy of my Flashaboo. Just a little bit shy of that. Set that aside. Now I take this and I fold this back over the top of the wings. Don't worry about the wing stuff. You're going to be able to straighten that out after you get your whip finish in there. Pull that back. Just pull that through. I think I got one of my little silly legs from the other side over. It's okay. Pull that, put a 10, 12 wraps in it. Okay, leave it like that. Put your whip finish in. I try to do 3 sets of whip finish over the top of this thing. There's one. That's all right. Here's another one. 2. Pull, snug it down. It's starting to move down on my vise is a little loose on this. Once you start tugging a lot. And 3 little whip finish. Pull that back up. Make sure you get your thread nice and tight. Go up, trim it off. Now you got to trim the other part of this back off, this black foam off. So you just I take my scissors, I just stick it in there, and I cut it as close as I can, like that. But then I also take my scissors and I kind of get the corner of the foam just a little bit, just cut it off, kind of rounds it around the body, and that is, and then you can take this clip off. And your silly legs, you can adjust your silly legs, and you can spread your wings out now, whatever you want to do with they're not going anywhere. Okay, you can trim your silly legs to be the same. They should be a little bit longer, than the body. A little bit, past the wing. And the only thing else I would do is I would then turn it over, and I would put some head cement right over the threads, ample amount, and let it sit and dry. And that's it. That's my cicada. Thank you for watching.